if I told you we've been playing Apex wrong? And today I'm going to bring you the most philosophical, psychological, out-of-the-box tips for Apex Legends. Hi everyone, this is G-Sun, or G-Classified, or G-Science, whatever you want to call me, but today I'm going to guarantee you've never heard of what I'm about to tell you. Now to start things off, I'm going to tell you I am not the best player, nor will I ever claim that I'm the best player, because I always seek for improvement. And these videos that you are seeing right now are old clips from when the game practically first came out, and I'm kind of just clearing out my gallery, so I decided to make things that I've found along the way, and hopefully you enjoy the gameplay and the tips that I have for you. I'm putting all of my trust in what I'm about to say, and what I'm about to say is that your psychological state outside of the game reflects how you play inside of the game. So hopefully what I have for you from the book of The Art of War, these tips will help beginners and even players that have been playing since Season 0. I myself have came a long way from figuring out different ways of playing in order to improve myself. If you want to know more about how far I've came, there will be more and possible videos in the future. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you want to know, and I will find a video and I will put things together for such situations. I'm here to either give you play-by-play or just give you general information about things that people don't talk about that I've seen or see that helped improve me. And hopefully I can see you guys in a match and we can all be as good as we can possibly be, and we can challenge each other to the fullest, because I like a good challenge. And without further ado, let's jump into these tips real quick. I got 4 of them for you, and then I'm gonna say some other stuff on the side. So thank you, let's get into this, let's do this. I'm about to dual wield R301s. In The Art of War, Sun Tzu said, "Thus we may know that there are 5 essentials for victory." Tip number 1. He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. Now this shouldn't come to a surprise to anyone, but we all know that there's people out there that are trying to 1v3, 1v5, 1v however many people there are, and just running off solo and doing their own thing. But we need to learn how to retreat. Retreating is good, it's not bad, there shouldn't be no shame in backing off and healing up and getting your breath together and then getting back into the fight. But it even goes further than that. Like, you don't have to take every battle you see. You could just see somebody running across the field and just completely forget about them. Yes, you might want to take that fight because you're getting bloodthirsty, but you don't have to. It's not necessary, it's not demanding. I mean, sometimes, but in ranked, I mean, that's there, but we'll get to a rank when we get there. But you don't have to engage in every fight. It's not bad to just back out, and it's not bad to just leave people be and fight another day, because eventually you're either going to run into them or you won't. You're there to survive at the end of the day. You're there to win. And that's essentially what's going on. And people forget about that, and they don't take that into consideration, that retreating and learning when to fight and when not to fight is important. Even if you're with your randos. Randoms, they have this tendency to run off on their own. Like, we have to get into a mindset of being able to know when to just back off. Even as a whole unit, or even if you're playing solo, we just have to learn how to back off. It should be a thing. It should be a mindset in order to be better at the game. I probably really don't even have the full entire scope of what I want to say and like how I want people to like understand that on like an in general level. But like, let's move on to tip number 2 for you in the book of The Art of War. And for tip number 2, Sun Tzu said, "He will win who knows how to handle both superior and inferior forces." Let me say that again. He will win who knows how to handle both superior and inferior forces. Now, we all know about superior people. And superior people are basically the ones that are better at the game than most. They're the ones with the higher skills, the game awareness, you know, all that such. And you just have to know how to handle them. Everybody is different. You just have to find the weakness within that moment. You have to find the thought of like, how can you outplay them in that? See, they're good at the game, so you have to figure out a way to outmaneuver their gameplay, because they have And they are superior to you most of the time if you're trying to get good and all that stuff, but you have to figure out a way to stop them before they stop you and send you back to the lobby. It's that simple. But it's not that simple. I understand some people are probably going to say that, but even in the clips right now, as you can see, like that right there. And like I said at the beginning of the game, I am nowhere near as good as I want to be, and I will never be as good as I want to be because I'm always searching for improvement. It's never gonna end. You can call it a Goku complex if that's what you want to call it, but it's never going to stop. And even for like if I play against somebody who I can easily maneuver out on the field, like they still have a potential to get me, and I treat them as being better than me. I treat everybody as being better than me because I want to be the best I can be. But see, when I watch clips, I watch it for the entertainment, the fun. There's some things I think about that. I'm like, oh, maybe I can try that. But most of the time, it's not like that because I want to know my move set, my skills, because it's going to ultimately come down to how I am and how my default playstyle is. And I want to make a video on about that because your own personal style is your own personal style, and that's what everybody has. Everybody can give you tips, but when it comes to your own personal thing that only you know how to do and which you can only master, that's what's going to be important when it comes down to battle in an Apex. And if you ask me, everybody is good and not good at the game. I don't care what skill level a person is on. There's always somebody who can outmatch even a pred. And they don't even have to be pred, never been pred, but you can literally outmatch these people. You just have to figure out how. And before we get to number 3, I just have to say, like, this isn't even a complete thought on the fullest level because I have to be, like, in the deepest moment to actually clarify it. Like, this is the first time I'm actually recording and trying to put something out there, so it sounds a little bit odd. And yeah, tip number 1 was a bit obvious to everybody, but we need to make it more known. And when I keep recording, you're going to see a difference and more information being pushed out. And hopefully you play connect the dots. And one more time, before we go to tip number 3, I have to say you're going to see a lot of unnecessary parts. It's in these clips. It's not just me doing play after play of shots after shots. I want to make sure that we can reminisce and like the old Apex on what it used to look like, places I've been, places that aren't there, places that are still there. Like it's truly amazing to see how the game has progressed up to the point of where we are and where you see this. It depends. It could be season 11, 12, 13, 15, 17. We just want to keep the beauty, the nostalgia in it. So, yeah. On to tip number 3. And tip number 3 goes something like this. Sun Tzu said, "He will win whose army is animated by the same spirit throughout all its ranks." That's a good one, huh? Let me say that one more time. He will win whose army is animated by the same spirit throughout its ranks. See, with this one, I'm a very deep thinker when it comes to anything impossible, like anything you can think of. Like, wherever my mind goes, that's what I'm gonna go in the depths and scuba dive wherever it takes me. But just like, okay, the army's animated by the spirit throughout all its ranks. So it kind of goes like you have to keep the same hype. You have to be excited. You have to be ready to do this with your team, with your randos. Like you have to be in the spirited mode to do this. Because like I said in the beginning, your mental health in real life outside of the game reflects your gameplay inside the game. And like I know people are like that might be that's pretty obvious. It's not as obvious and as common as we should put into consideration. And I think we need to just understand that if you're getting tilted, you need to stop from the game. You need to slow down, take a pause, back out, do something, and then get back into the game. You gotta hype up yourself, you gotta hype up the rest of your team, your friends, whoever you're playing with. You gotta keep them hyped. You don't have a mic, just keep it in the comments and just type it out. GG, good look, nice job. You have to keep the hype up for everybody. You gotta keep that spirit in there. Like it's kind of mandatory in a way, but try to keep that in mind next time you're playing. Don't try and be upset with anybody. Just keep a level head and go in, do your thing, win, survive, then win is the actual way to do it. But that's the spirits have to be high, and like all of them, no matter how terrible your teammate is, no matter how good they are, keep the hype on them, hype them up, make sure that they're on their toes. Like you gotta support. It's a team, so you have to support. It's a team-based game. There's nothing else you can do. Support, no matter what. Even if you're knocked and like you're watching, like just pure support, because the spirits have to be high. The more you hype them, the better they will get, and you can see that in almost anywhere that in any sport, anything that you do. Like it's all hype them up. They're just gonna, as long as they don't overcomplicate themselves and they what's the word? Taking it out of proportion to where they're overhyped. You don't want to overhype them to the point to where they're cocky and then they start messing up, because then that just ruins their play style. Because like you have to be modest. Like good stuff is in modesty, and that's what we need more of. And we need more teamwork when it comes to this game, because a lot of people are just going in and not doing any of these things. And a little backstory about myself when it comes down to stuff like this. Like, put me in a 1v3 and I will fold. Simple as that. Not all the time. As you've seen in a couple clips here. Like, I will fold. Like, at one point, like, I would get, like, basically an anxiety attack and I would have to stop because my heart would just pound, 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 because I could not put myself. I would put all of the weight on me when it comes to like clutching. I'm not a clutcher. Pure out, flat out, I'm not a clutcher. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. And I've learned that enough about me to say and be confident in myself to know that that's where I stand in the game. One day I'll be able to do it. But until then, I know myself too well. And we're going to get into that too in another video eventually at some point. I'm really here to help make it easy. Something easy so that way when you're like in the game that like it crosses your mind at in that moment. So like I hope these are really helping. I hope they're starting to click on how everything goes and how it should help you, and how like I know these are like minor but they're also major at the same time. So as we're pushing through these, let's get to tip number 4. For tip number 4, the great Sun Tzu said, "He will win who prepared himself, waits to take the enemy unprepared." Let me say that one more again. He will win who prepared himself, waits to take the enemy unprepared. Now this is a tip that I still struggle with. I have a hard time armor swapping. I'd rather use my shield, but a lot of the time, like you will see like throughout this gameplay that that's not what I do. I forget my armor. I don't pick up armor. Like my inventory is all raggedy, jaggedy. But I'm slowly progressing and getting used to the game, because it wasn't like that for me. I have a very specific way on how I play. It's fast paced, but it's not fast paced. Looking back on these, like this is a whole different ball. Like rewatching these, I'm mad at myself because of the errors that I see, and that's what you need to do. If you have to record them and then look back at them, look back at them. If you have to keep them in your gallery and for like a couple seasons until you go back to watch them and see like, wow, this is really what I was doing at this point in time. It's kind of comical in a way, but like it's just something you got to do. You got to stay prepared. You got to make sure your team's good, you're good. If you get the knock, if you have to finish them, finish them. But like you don't want to really start the gunfight. You want to make sure that you have the upper hand when you start the gunfight, if that makes sense. You got her? I think there's a whole other team there. Got her.
Hit me!
The complete squad is
Hit
defeated.
me!
Hostile spotted.
I think.
Reloading.
Yeah, please do, because I don't know if I see somebody coming.
Did you get her?
Yeah, she's dead. Yep, here comes somebody else. And as all that's still going on, like, this is something you don't want to do right now. You don't want to back off this far to retreat to heal up. You need a good amount of distance between you and your team. so that way you can get back into the fight a lot faster. Something else I need to add in that is that as soon as you get done with a fight, armor swap, get that into your system. Armor swap, then heal your person, because as long as you guys are using a mic and you know another team's on the way, which I want to cover in a different video, that you have to stay prepared. As long as you're prepared, your team's going to win. And as you see from these clips, there was a lot of unpreparation after this team ended up showing up, and then things went dramatically wrong, which I'm pretty sure it gets clutched. But yeah, that's it for tip number 4, and I'm gonna bring you into something else real quick. Couple of things before we finish up in this video. We're gonna go through, I got 2 more things of like sentences to say. So like, first things first is, if you have 2 bubbles connected in the middle, is what you need to do. The one bubble says know your enemy, and the other one says know yourself, and if you combine together, then you'll get what you need in order to prepare for battle. So Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, yet again, he said, if you know the enemy and yourself, you need not fear the results of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. The final last few tips for side tips would be for Sun Tzu in The Art of War. Sun Tzu says, strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. And then there's an add-on to it that says, understanding the art of war. While strategy is the action plan that takes you where you want to go, tactics are the steps and actions that will get you there. The way the plan will be delivered in terms of specific actions. So, yeah, without strategy, or strategy without tactics, is the slowest route to a victory. See, you can have strategies all day long, but if you don't have the tactics and the mics and specific things you need to put in there, then it's going to be a very difficult, long way to a win in that battle. And then tactics without strategies, if you have tactics and you're very tactical and all that, like, and you're not prepared, like, you're gonna make a lot of noise because you don't have a strategy to keep things quiet, to make it fast, and end the battle as soon as possible before you get third-partied, fifth-partied, however you want to do that, because it's all noisy when you're out there in the battlefield. And yeah, like that's like what we need to do in gaming is know that there is an outside source to make things better, that we can actually involve and bring to the game. It's not just all in-game stuff that makes people good. It's outside stuff that you can apply to your games that will help out ultimately in your gameplay in the end of what you want to learn. Like, there's so much out there that this is why I'm covering things that people on YouTube and like all the good players out there, they don't cover these. They're not going to cover the things I have to say. And we need to make this more of a common thing, so that way we can get better players, so that way I can have better challenges. And that's as simple as that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed these tips, and hopefully you apply it, because I want to see everybody get better. And you can finish out the rest of the game and see us win this. I believe we do. And watch my gameplay progress as the more videos I make. And yeah, like, thank you for watching. You know, like, subscribe. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm not pushing it. A like would be nice. 10 likes on a video is good enough for me. I don't need 100. I don't need 50 subscribers in one day. One person can go ahead and subscribe, and I'd be satisfied with that. But if you like what I'm doing, I'm gonna try and keep up the good work here, and let's do this thing. Apex Legends. I'm out. Enjoy, by the way.
Apex
I
champions.
wonder how they decide who's in the middle because
I know Vax, he got one.
me or you should have been in the middle.
Oh, I'm kind of
Fuck,
glad I had a
remember.
viewer there.
This is where it ends.